Hello. Today we're going to talk about ratios, which is the latest Max4Live device that we've developed here at Superbloom DSP. Ratios is a dual line delay. The first delay line is what we'll call a regular delay. The second delay line is either the golden or silver ratio delay. If you are familiar with guitars, you may have actually seen a couple of guitar pedals that use golden and silver ratio delays. If you're familiar with visual arts, then the golden ratio in particular will probably be familiar to you, as it's one of the quote-unquote rules of composition. And essentially what it says is that the relationship between certain elements is most comforting on the eye, and the same can be said for audio elements, and that's where we get the whole delay line in this aspect. So the golden delay ratio is going to be a shorter delay, while the silver is going to be a bit longer. And we've got a couple of options between the delay lines. The first, by default, the first delay line is the normal delay, as indicated by the delay time. And the second delay line is the ratio. So the silver in this case, or golden ratio delay. You can also reverse those options, and so that then you have the golden or the silver delay line be the first delay you hear, and the second delay you hear is that of the normal delay, delayed past the golden silver ratio. Each of the delay lines go through the feedback and the wet dry. So you can have feedback up to, we've got 55 here, and that will be self-oscillation. So one should always take care when there's self-oscillation or resonance that can produce oscillation, so that you don't blow up your ears or your monitors. And so for that reason, I always put a limiter on the master channel or on the channels themselves. In this case, Ratios actually has a limiter built in, so for all intents and purposes, you shouldn't need to put that second limiter on there, but I do it just in case some kind of unforeseen path happens and we somehow skip the limiter, or the limiter breaks or something like that. It's just extra protection. But anyway, so this feedback can go into self-oscillation at the very top end of it. Wet dry obviously goes to 1 to 0. Double click on any of the parameters and we'll go to the default values. We've gone through the golden and the delay. There's a filter that impacts each of the delay lines. So you can have control over the cutoff frequency. There's a nice little resonant, which will give you a little nice resonant bumps as far as the frequencies you get to hear. And then there's also a gain, which will add a little bit of overdrive, maybe a little bit of distortion. All of these elements function only on the delay lines, on the wet signal. The dry signal that comes into the device in the first place remains unaffected by any of these items. So for our demonstration purposes today, we're going to start. We've got two different ways to test it, but we're going to start with a wavetable synth built in Ableton Live. We've got a preset called A Brief History of Chime, and we're going to go ahead and just play this. This is the dry signal. It's got some MIDI that goes through a number of different octaves and a few fifths, just to kind of so we can experience a lot of the frequencies and therefore get a feel for how the filter works. So now we've got ratios enabled. As you increase the delay time, you probably hear a couple of delays, and we'll throw some feedback up as well. Now you'll notice when we press silver that the second delay is actually a good bit behind the golden delay, and as you go ahead and increase the delay time, that gap in between the delays will be even more prominent. You can go 100% wet if you'd like, or completely dry. So I usually like to get the delay time such that the particular ratio and the delay itself sound good together. Throw in a little bit of feedback, but not too much, and then open the cutoff all the way. This way we get most every frequency entailed in the delay included. I may throw some resonance up about halfway or so, and then do a little little sweep of the cutoff frequency. And by doing this, we should see what kind of good little bits are coming from that frequency bump of the resonance. And is there anything that we particularly like? And the feedback, wet, dry, cutoff, resonance, gain, they're all very interactive. So if you change one of the values, you might want to actually go back and increase or decrease another value. But just to show you the self-oscillation when you crank the feedback, we've got this, and so it's not spiraling out of control due to that limiter, so we're good to go here. There certainly may be some circumstances where that's kind of nice for you. So you get a lot of different rhythmic possibilities between the two delays and the ability to reorder them, and the different silver as well as gold ratios. So in this version, we're using the silver ratio. The first delay line is the silver ratio, and the second delay line is then the quote-unquote regular delay. So that's one of the examples that we've got. The second example is just an audio sample. It's a grand piano. Just a couple of chords. Kind of sounds a bit like Mussorgsky. Go ahead and turn on ratios. And as is the case for most plugins, you can also go ahead and throw them into the arrangement view over here. So come on, buddy. There we go. This might take a while. Let's just do this. Boom. There we go. So if we go into the automation panels, you can see we've got ratios here, and then under ratios, we've got each of the items on there. The the delay time, the feedback, dry wet, delay filter cutoff, delay filter resonance, gain, as well as the two buttons. One thing I really love doing is the filter cutoff, especially with a high resonance. So we'll go ahead and get that down to a pretty low value. And then go ahead and play it. Let's add some more. Let's add the resonance. Now, along with the filter sweep, we should also get a little bit of a self-oscillation in that feedback value. And of course, we can still make changes to the non-automated parameters. So everything functions as you would expect from something in Ableton Live, and offers a lot of rhythmic and interesting textural possibilities. So that was elements, or ratios, I'm sorry, ratios.